Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. All right, let's dive into this absolute gem of a story where a clueless customer refuses to accept reality. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Customer insists I work at the pet store, then tries to get me fired. I was washing my dog at a local pet store. They have public dog baths there with tons of signs about cost of using them. I was rinsing my dog off when I heard someone ask an employee, "Do you guys trim dog nails here?" I kept rinsing because I don't work there and assumed they were talking to an employee. I also couldn't see them because the dog bath is somewhat tucked behind some shelves. "Excuse me," I heard someone say in an annoying voice. I still didn't look up. I don't work there. From now on, CC will stand for C-word customer, a graying man with a pot belly and a deep voice. I heard the dog wash gate open, so I glanced over my shoulder. There's multiple baths to use there, and saw someone staring at me with their hands up. CC pulled down their mask and strongly said, "Excuse me, do you trim nails here?" Me. "Oh, I don't think they do, but I don't work here. You'll have to ask someone who does." CC. "But I just asked you. Why would I ask someone else?" Me. "Because I don't work here." CC. "If you don't work here, why are you washing someone's dog?" Me. "I'm washing my own dog. This is a public dog bath." I pointed at the sign that read, "Dog bath, $10 per use." CC. "So you don't trim nails here, you just wash dogs? How much would it be if I brought 2 dogs in?" Me. "Dude, I don't effing work here. I just told you that 3 times. Go ask someone else." CC. "I don't care if you don't work here. That's still bad customer service." I already have a short temper with stupid people, but I was getting more than annoyed by CC, especially since CC kept getting closer and closer in a gated bathing area, and my dog was starting to get agitated by him. Me. "I don't work here, you effing idiot. I told you over and over again." My dog started growling, which he only does because of the excitement. He's not aggressive. CC stormed off, slamming the gate and knocking over some dog treats. I could hear him from the other side of the store yelling at the cashier. CC. "I want his name now. I want him fired." Cashier. "I'm sorry, who are you talking about?" CC. "The employee at the dog wash." Cashier looks in my direction. "I'm the only employee here. That man washing his dog is a customer. Is there something I can do for you?" CC. "Yes, get your manager on the phone." Cashier. "But that man is not an employee. I'm actually the only employee here today." CC. "I don't care." Cashier was silent for a few seconds and said, "I just told you he doesn't work here. I'm not calling the manager, but I am going to ask you to leave." CC. "I'm not leaving until you call your manager." Cashier. "If you don't leave, I'm calling the police." CC. "F you, I'm writing a review. This is terrible customer service." CC stormed out. I've never in my life been confused as an employee anywhere, especially at this pet store. They wear blue shirts, I was wearing a black hoodie. After he was yelling at the cashier, I couldn't tell if he was all there in the head. Either way, I don't work here. Wow, this guy. Thank goodness he didn't hurt you or your dog, OP. I'm glad the cashier threatened him with the cops. I hope you've checked the common review sites to provide background if they actually were stupid enough to put one up. You'd be a hero. And our second story. Helping 2 shoppers understand each other without changing the language. One of my favorite retail memories is mostly only as a concept because of how cool of a moment it was. I have university level, but only really just passing level, of French language knowledge, and sometimes I wonder if people like me with a second language dream if there will ever come a time when we can help out in just the right moment by translating between 2 strangers. However, my moment to shine was actually a time when I got to translate from my native English to English. I listen to a lot of BBC Radio 4 shows, and really enjoy the variety of accents from different celebs and comedy shows there. So I've gotten used to a bunch of really thick accents and enjoy picking apart the patterns in each. By some stroke of magic, while doing my rounds as a DSD vendor at Small Shart one day, I came across two ladies who had super thick accents speaking in English to each other, trying to talk to each other, and each becoming increasingly frustrated. One had a really deep accent from, I'm guessing, loosely the India region, and another with a very heavy Spanish accent. It seemed like as they got more and more frustrated, the more they defaulted to less enunciation and thus their heavier native accents. The conversation isn't verbatim, just conceptually accurate. The broader context is that they are friends and are shopping as an experiment and participating in a mutual errand together to get to know each other and their preferences better. Their argument is in the sense of a friendly one, not a heated stranger tirade. Spanish accent. I just can't understand you. India accent. I'm not sure what you're saying to me, but I only am trying to tell you which aisle we should go to next. It's nothing to yell about. Why are you yelling? Spanish. Your accent is so thick, I can only barely make out one or two words. Speak slower. India. Maybe if we stop yelling, we could sound it out. You speak too fast when you're yelling. Me. What's the issue here? Spanish. Can you understand her? She's talking too fast for me to understand. Me. Sure, it's like a really heavy India accent, but I like it. It's very nice. India. She's yelling, so it's tough for me to understand her. Me. Oh, well, I can understand you both fine. What is it you want to say? Duh, they just told me. India. Will you tell her she's yelling for no reason? I was only trying to say which aisle we should go to next, but she's yelling for some reason, and I can't understand her when she's yelling. Spanish. I need her to speak slower. When she speaks so quickly, I can't understand her. Me, to India, she's confused because you're speaking too fast and can understand you better when you speak slower. Me, to Spanish, she's confused about why you're yelling and can't understand you when you're yelling. She only wanted to say which aisle the both of you should visit next, which isn't something to yell about. Spanish, yelling. Well, why didn't you just say so? Me, she did, and you're still yelling. India grins. Spanish. Oh, sorry. I have a short temper sometimes, I guess. Smiling. India, to me, smiling. Thank you. Me. I'll tell you what, I'm trying to learn sign language in order to speak in passing with a deaf guy who works in the back, just to learn a few things, to say hello and small chit-chat. One of the words I learned recently is slowly, and I made the sign for slow, running my right hand over the back of my left hand from my knuckles to past my wrist, as if petting it gently. Maybe that could help you too. Spanish in a calmer tone, that's not a bad idea. Spanish grabs India's arm and pets it slowly. Me, that's not what I meant. India shushes me and waves me off with her other arm and looks into Spanish's eyes dreamily. I make my escape to do my rounds. They would again track me down to ask what phrase was saying and explain the broader context. Alas, I never saw them again after that visit, but good times. This is actually really beautiful to hear about. With the increasing amount of international people speaking English these days and carrying unusual accents, communication barriers remain so prevalent. Perhaps courses on accents would be as useful as courses on languages one day. And our last story. They built a house on my land, now it's mine. I own a huge plot of land. We're talking acres, 2 big open glades connected by roads with a thick strip of untouched forest running right through the middle. That strip of trees made for a natural boundary, which was important since I wasn't living on site full time. I had a small house in one of the clearings, but I spent a lot of time away trusting that nothing major would happen while I was gone. That was my first mistake. After being away for 8 months, I came back expecting the usual peace, quiet, and nothing but nature around me. Instead, I found a fully built 2-story house sitting dead center on my land. For a moment, I thought I was in the wrong place. I even pulled up my GPS, but no, this was definitely my land. And somehow, some absolute moron had built an entire house on it. How did this happen? I did some digging and found out the following. The neighbor, let's call him Todd, bought a small plot of land adjacent to mine. He was excited to build his dream home. He hired a cheap and competent contractor who never properly surveyed the land before breaking ground. Instead of verifying where his property line was, Todd just eyeballed it and said, "Yeah, this looks good." His contractor never filed the correct permits with the county, which meant no one officially checked the boundary before they started building. By the time construction was done, his entire house, foundation, driveway, septic system was on my property. Todd had basically built himself a free house on my land without realizing it. Or rather, a free house for me. I drove over to Todd's house to try to talk things out. Maybe he'd be reasonable. Maybe we could work out a fair deal. Yeah, no, that was wishful thinking. When I knocked on the door, Todd answered with a frown like I was wasting his time. Me. Hey, I own the land next door and just came back after being away for a while. I had a surveyor check some things and it turns out, well, your house is actually on my property. Todd laughed, a full-on smug chuckle. Todd, oh yeah? Nice try. Me, I'm serious. I hired a real estate lawyer and had a full survey done. Your contractor built your house on my land. I was hoping we could talk about resolving this. His smirk vanished. Todd, this is my house. I paid for it. I don't know what scam you're trying to pull, but you're not getting a dime from me. Me, scam? Todd, I didn't even know who you were until today. You're the one who built without checking property lines. That's when his wife came storming out. Wife, you little thief. You're just trying to shake us down for money. We're not giving you a single cent. Before I could say another word, she slammed the door in my face. Well, that sealed their fate. Originally, I was going to offer them a fair price for the land under their house. It would have been an easy fix for them. But after that conversation, forget it, so I sued them. The lawsuit was simple. Either they had to tear down the house and restore my land to its original condition, or they had to sign the house over to me since it was built on my legally owned land. Guess which option was cheaper for them? Demolishing the house would cost a fortune, not to mention they'd have to remove the foundation, replant trees, and fix the land back to how it was. It was financially impossible for them. So in the end, they had no choice but to sign the house over to me. Just like that, I went from living in a small one-story house with my girlfriend to owning a brand new house for free. The land it was sitting on had originally cost me almost nothing, and when I finally sold the house, I made 50 times my original investment. Maybe next time Todd and his wife will check the property lines before breaking ground. Unbelievable. They give you the whole house for free instead of admitting their mistake? Todd and his wife really fumbled the biggest bag of their lives. You were literally about to offer them a reasonable way out, but nope, smug arrogance activated. Imagine building an entire house on the wrong land and then doubling down like you're the one getting scammed. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.